Welcome to Pick Six, everybody. No host this week. I'm going to host, and I'm going to be part of our discussion panel this week. Let's meet our people right here. Marshall.
I'm Marshall, and sadly, because the Eagles game was on Thursday night, I won't be able to say anything about Philadelphia this week.
I'm Brian. Also, sadly, since Pick Six has had a few technical difficulties the past couple weeks, I still haven't been able to gloat about my 6-0 record from like 3 weeks ago. But it's okay because I get this nice comfy chair because of it.
All right, let's get right into it. San Francisco at Green Bay. 49ers coming off a big win last week. Lost Frank Gore against the CFL's Arizona Cardinals. What do you think happens this week, Marshall?
Well, the 49ers have climbed back into the playoff hunt, but that's only because they're in the NFC West. If they're in any other division, they'd be at the bottom of it, and I don't think they can compete with Green Bay. Green Bay is still one of the elite teams in the NFC, in my belief. They almost beat Atlanta last week, couldn't quite hold on. And I just think, especially without Frank Gore, 49ers are going to put up a fight. Green Bay big.
I actually think it's going to be close, and I think San Francisco is going to pull out the win. It's going to be my upset pick for the week. Well, maybe there'll be a couple more, but either way, they're playing good football right now. I know the Cardinals are terrible, but they won that game really easily. I like Troy Smith, the quarterback. He's a winner. He's playing really well for them. And Brian Westbrook, he might be rejuvenated. I think they're going to win a close one over the Packers.
Bold pick. Me personally, I think this is the 49ers game of the year. If they want to go to the playoffs, do anything, they have to come out and they have to find a way to win this game in Green Bay against what many people still consider the NFC's best team. I think they'll show some fight. I think this will be a competitive game, but if you're talking about winning at Lambeau, I don't think that's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers, too much offense. That defense is still a little suspect. I don't know how Troy Smith expects to move the ball against great Green Bay secondary. Clay Matthews, 49ers can't block him. They'll give the effort. This will be their best game. This might be their best performance of the year, but I still think they'll come up a little short here. All right, next game. Denver visits Kansas City. Denver, of course, blew out Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. This was, of course, Handshake Bowl Part 2. Josh McDaniels and Todd Haley. Marshall, you think the Kansas City can rebound after that atrocious game against Denver last time?
I do, Simrath. I don't see how Denver managed to come and blow out the Chiefs last time. I don't think it's going to happen again. Denver right now is just not looking good to me. And Kansas City, on the other hand, well, they look shaky at times. I think they have enough to beat them here. It's probably going to be another close game. These always are. But ultimately, I think the Chiefs are going to pull this one out.
I'm going to pick another upset. I'm taking the Denver Broncos in this one. The way these two teams are, Denver has a terrible defense, but a great aerial assault with Kyle Orton and all those receivers. You'd expect this game to be both teams in the 40s, but it's the NFL, so it'll probably be like 17-14 or something. That being said, I think the Broncos are going to win it. They just completely embarrassed Kansas City last time. They might just have what it takes to beat that team. Some teams are better matchup for others. I think Denver's going to win.
Ryan Brashy, a little cocky after that finally bragging about a 6-0. Me this week, I'm going to go with Kansas City. They have not lost at Arrowhead this year. They're always very, very tough. Denver's defense literally cannot stop a VCR, literally and figuratively, with Josh McDaniels. Kansas City, there's too many offensive weapons right now. Dwayne Bowe, Jamal Charles, Thomas Jones. They're really clicking right now. Matt Castle, 18 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns actually, 4 interceptions on the year. Kansas City's defense is also pretty good. I think they'll get some revenge in the Handshake Bowl Part 2. All right, next game here, Jaguars at Titans. Big divisional game. Titans are still in the race despite their losing record. Jaguars, heartbreaking loss at the Giants last week. Tied with the Colts right now. Kerry Collins is coming back this week for the Titans. You think they can pull out the win over the Jaguars?
Well, who knew both of these teams would still be in the playoff hunt now, and even in the hunt for the division title, with the Colts not performing as well as they have in past years. But in this one, I like the Jaguars here. I know the Titans are getting Kerry Collins back. I think that does help. I mean, obviously not having a rookie quarterback is good. But to me, the Titans are just a mess right now. They're just having problems all over the field, as you could see with the fight that broke out last week. I think their team's just slowly falling out of it. And I think the Jaguars are still a decent, pretty good team from what they've shown so far. So I think the Jaguars are going to be able to pull this one out on the road.
Yeah, this is a huge game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They can really make up some ground in the standings and, kind of stay near the top or at the top. And I think they're going to lose it, actually. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to be able to throw on them with Kerry Collins. He's not a bad quarterback. But I think the key to this game is going to be Chris Johnson. He was completely shut down last week against Houston. He is not going to let that happen again. That guy is hungry. Who knows how many yards he's going to have in this one after getting like 5 yards last week. So I think the Titans are going to be great on offense. I don't think Jacksonville is going to be able to stop them. Kerry Collins is a huge upgrade from Rusty Smith. Give me the Titans in this one.
It's pretty unfortunate that this is what has become of the AFC South, that this is their big game, the biggest one they've had in quite some time. Usually considered the NFL's strongest division for a long time. But anyway, I like the Titans this week. I don't trust the Jaguars yet on the road this week. Last week they came up short against the Giants, blew a game they should have won. This week I can see a similar type of thing happening. Tennessee at home. Once again, their season's going to be on the line. I think they respond well. Kerry Collins coming back. Titans were just absolutely embarrassed last week. They have lots and lots to play for. Titans' defensive line is a great defensive line. I don't know how the Jaguars plan on handling it. I don't know how David Garrard and that offense is going to plan on getting big-time yards against that secondary. I think the Titans can eke one out, grind it out, old-school type game at home with Chris Johnson leading the way. Give me the Titans this week. All right, so now that we're past the mediocre part of the slate, let's go to the 3 big games this week, starting with Atlanta visiting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 0-4 against the big teams this year, winning records. Can they reverse that trend this week?
Well, I believe the last time I picked this game, I went out on a limb and took the Buccaneers, and I really wanted to do it this time because I really do like the Buccaneers. They're playing with a lot of spirit, a lot of fire. I just can't see it happening, though. The Falcons are just clicking on all levels right now, and even though this isn't at home where Matt Ryan is just tremendous, I still think they're going to be able to come in and win this one. I think that the Buccaneers are definitely improving, but this year just may not be their year. Falcons win this one.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. You got Matt Ryan for the Falcons. He's always kind of shaky on the road. He's been better this year, but he's not nearly as good on the road as he is at home. And the Buccaneers, this is a huge game for them. They're a feisty team. You know they're going to give it their all this week after kind of blowing it a little bit last week against Baltimore in another big game. But you know what? I think the Falcons are going to win this one just on virtue of just being the better team. They can run the ball with Turner. They can throw the ball. I think Matt Ryan's going to continue his strong play wherever they are, at home or on the road. And I think the Falcons, they really just put a stranglehold on the NFC South with this one.
Well, I think what you have here is Atlanta's just at one level above Tampa Bay right now. More experience, better overall team. They've proven they can win big games yet. Tampa Bay has not proven they can do that. I think even at home, Tampa Bay, they've been blown out by New Orleans. They've been blown out by Pittsburgh. That Baltimore game was misleading. They did not. They were just clearly manhandled by the Ravens on both sides of the ball. I think this week what you have with Atlanta, a completely balanced team. I think they can do it with Matt Ryan and Michael Turner. I don't know how the Bucs are going to have an answer for it. Josh Freeman, very good quarterback late. Yeah, I think he might make this game a little bit more interesting than it could have been otherwise, like he did last week with the Ravens. But in the end, Atlanta's just a better team. All right, moving on. So we have the big AFC North showdown this week. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Cameraman Adam Brody staring at me right now with a retro James Harrison jersey. You think the Steelers this week can go to Baltimore and take the division lead?
I don't, actually. I think the Ravens are going to win this one. But for me, it's really a toss-up. I mean, these two teams are big rivals. It's always a close game. You can't expect anything less. They're going to come in here. It's going to be a slugfest. The reason I'm picking the Ravens is I just think the home field edge is going to give them a little bit extra that they need to push over the top. But really, this one could give them to a field goal or a touchdown at the very end, like it always does.
This hurts me to do this, but I'm going to have to pick the Baltimore Ravens. Ben Roethlisberger, as gutsy and as tough of a guy as he is, he's playing on a broken foot. If this was Brett Favre, we'd be saying there's no way he should be out there. I love that Big Ben's playing. That's great to see. But I really think the Ravens' defense is going to feast on him. He's not going to be as mobile as he usually is. He obviously re-injured that in last week's game against Buffalo. The Ravens' defense, as Troy Polamalu said earlier in the week, they present the Ravens' offense presents a problem. Joe Flacco is playing really well this year. Surprising to me, surprising to a lot of people. Ray Rice has really picked it up lately. I think the Ravens are going to win this one at home against the Steelers.
Another primetime game against the Steelers and the Ravens is actually the 4th straight year one of these two teams have played in a primetime game. This week, though, give me the Ravens. This Steelers season looks a lot like last year. They're starting to come apart. Should have lost that game last week at Buffalo. Baltimore still rock steady. They're going to be in every game they play. When they lose, it comes down to the wire. Give me the Ravens this week. I think the Steelers' defense is especially starting to come apart. The balance between Joe Flacco and the Ravens' running game, I think they're going to be able to move the ball. The Ravens' defense, for some reason, always seems to give the Steelers problem. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger is playing, and he has yet to lose the Ravens as a starter. But I think overall the Ravens can take away Mendenhall, put the pressure on Mike Wallace and Hines Ward. If they take away Mike Wallace also, I think they can definitely dominate that Steelers offensive line in front, especially with Kyle Williams last week just embarrassed the Buffalo Steelers offensive line. Give me the Ravens this week. All right, so what some people are naming the game of the year so far: the Jets at the Patriots. Rex Ryan, Bill Belichick. Jets won the first meeting. Can they get the season sweep?
Well, as always, just like the Steelers-Ravens game, this one is going to be tight. It's going to be hard fought. Both of these teams are playing really well. But I think what tips it is not necessarily Tom Brady, who's looked great, but the other side of the ball, where the Jets haven't been playing that great on offense, but they've been doing it when it counts. And the Patriots' defense, I just still don't trust them. They're still young. They're still inexperienced. And when they come out, they don't always look that great. They let up some points to a lot of teams. If you recall, just not that long ago, the Browns game where they just got demolished. I don't know if I trust them. And I think that the Jets are going to come in here. They're playing for a lot. They really want to prove to everyone that they're the team they said they were at the beginning of the year. And I think they've got what it takes. I think they're the kind of team that even if they don't play their best, they can still find a way to win at the end. I think that's going to happen in this game.
Well, Marshall doesn't like the New England defense, but you know what? This is a huge game, and I think Mark Sanchez for the Jets is going to come out there, and he's just not going to come through for them. He's still a young guy. People seem to forget that. I think Bill Belichick is really going to mess with his head with some different defensive schemes for the Patriots. And you know what? The running game for the Jets, Sean Green and LaDainian Tomlinson, they really haven't been giving them that much in recent weeks. So I don't think New England's necessarily that afraid of those guys. And I just, ever since the Patriots, it just embarrassed the Steelers in their home stadium, I've been sold on this New England team. I think they're the best team in the NFL by far. And I think they're just going to go out there and get it done on Monday night.
One thing we remember about this game is the Patriots played on Thursday, so in many ways they've almost had a bye week. They've had 11 days to prepare for this game. Patriots have acknowledged that's a big advantage. I think that plays into this game as well. Mark Sanchez, I think he'll get a little confused, but I've said all along, the Jets are a very overrated team. They keep having to find new ways to beat the Lions, the Texans, the Browns of the world. And the one big game they've played this year of late, they got absolutely shut out by the Green Bay Packers. I really just don't think the Jets are that good. That defense, yes, that's a good defense, but offensively, Mark Sanchez can just throw a killer pick at any time. Meanwhile, the Patriots are just firing on all cylinders. Tom Brady's playing as well as he did in 2007 when he threw for 50 touchdowns when you consider the players he's playing around. The defense, I like the defense. They find ways to win games. They find ways to make plays. They take away something from your offense. This week, I think they can take away the Jets' running game, force Mark Sanchez to beat them. I don't think that's going to work too well. I actually like the Patriots to win pretty big here. All right, so that's all for this week. We have 3 very interesting games. Sorry for the location, a little off, but see you guys next week. Have fun. Have a great weekend.